IT bands part 3. These are going to be what I would consider intermediate poses. You're going to want to be really mindful of your knees, and you're going to want to have your back and your hips pretty good and warmed up. I am filming this sequentially, so I already did my last IT band video to make sure I'm ready for these poses. If you feel pain or pinching, please back off. You want to be extra mindful here. Props you might want. I love a yoga block. I think everyone should have one, but if you don't, your sturdy book or your sturdy water bottle are going to do it. So we're going to have these things nearby. I'm going to flip on through my table. I like to get into these from downward facing dog. So I'm coming up to my down dog, kind of pedaling things out. I'm going to take my right foot, bring it between my hands, and I'm going to open my left foot, warrior 2. Windmilling my hands open. So the pinky edge of my foot is just about parallel. We say just about because you can kind of turn so your knee feels protected. All but a hint of softness comes out of your knee. Right hip comes back because we're moving at our waistline. So this is triangle pose, Trikonasana. You want to get a little bit comfortable here before you start adding that twist variation, which is going to get us into our IT band. So big inhale, left hand comes down, inside of your right foot, right hand comes up. This is why I like a block or something sturdy. This is a hard pose to do. It requires a big twist in your back. So sometimes keeping yourself a little lifted on your left hand, a little bonus stability can help. You can see my right knee looks straight, but it's got a little micro bend into it. I am not a fan of hyperextending. So you come back out, back through triangle, come on up. We're going to cartwheel and head to the opposite side. Stepping back into that down dog. I'll say it again because I love to say it. That's a hard transition. Like taking this foot between your hands. Woo, hard on the SI joint. Right leg or right foot is now in your warrior 2 position. Arms windmill up. So I'm taking all but a hint of softness out of my knee, bringing my hip back. I'm using my strong core to tip myself into triangle. It's an excellent pose to take with a prop, right? So you can really focus on your core. But today we're dropping our right hand, inhaling left up, and there's just this amazing stretch. But you'll notice this really big twist in your lower back. That's why I recommend getting warmed up before you do it. Let's come on down. Get rid of our prop. Come back down to our downward facing. Okay. So this pose is a real doozy. Once again, right foot comes between hands. I'm going to take my left knee down to get set up. So we're going to play within a low lunge. What we're going to do here, bring your left knee up so you can come onto the pinky edge of your foot. And I've taught this 2 ways. I've seen it 2 ways. You can come onto the pinky edge of your right foot and turn your knee out. This is where I'm saying you might need to back off. It can feel like big pressure in the knee. Some folks will actually plant their foot, turn their toes all the way to the lengthwise side of your mat. Big IT band stretch. I'm going to show it to you from the other side. So I'm going to come out, come back to my downward, take my left foot between my hands. I set my right knee down just to give myself a moment to set up this low lunge. Then we're going to pick up, turn onto the pinky edge of your back foot, okay? This knee too could get a little pressure in this pose. I'm always very hesitant to teach this pose unless I know my students are super body aware. So you can rock on that pinky edge, very much like you would in a lizard. If this feels like strain in your knee, you could angle your toes forward. You see that big, delicious stretch. You also get this nice stretch down here. It does feel awesome. But if it feels like strain in your knee, it just might not be for you. And that's okay because there are plenty of other ways to access. Let's come back through center. Come on down. Flip our toes under. Downward facing. Last one. Let's go. We'll come to our mat. So I would say I like a few windshield wipers to rinse out the hips. You could say, Nicole, they make my knees feel bad. Then skip them, or just don't go quite as far. All right, shoelaces. Left foot out, right leg bend. We set the bent knee right on top of our left knee. Ideally, the knees line up. Left knee bends underneath. You can see why this is a big pose. If you have a lot of gap here, you can always give yourself a little cushion so your knee doesn't feel like it's hanging out. If your knees are really squared and it feels like it's putting pressure on your knee, this pose might not be for you, or you can take the half shoelace. But let's talk about it from the IT band. We're in our nice stacked up knee. We're going to hinge forward. It's very much a hip opener. How do we turn it into an IT band stretch? We come over to the side, press our elbow into our knee, and just sort of twist into it. It's big, it's a little intense, and it might not work for every set of knees, but here's your twisted shoelace. We'd come out through center, unwrap, kind of bounce out your knees, roll your ankles, bend into left, set that knee stacked on top of the right. You can take it from a half, but if you're in a half, I'd recommend just opening up your hip first, right? If you feel like you can come to that full shoelace and you like the intensity of your hip, we play with hinging over and then turning in. And to really get into the IT bend, I like to keep it low. I like to use my elbow against my knee, sort of lift up my chest, drop my left hand. Chin, I love chin parallel to the floor. That's how you know your neck is nice and long. And we'll come back through center. Unwrap, unwind, bounce it out. These were big poses. If you have questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments. I would really like to help you through them. They're very beneficial, but they are challenging and they could be potentially hard on the knees. Don't forget to subscribe because I've got more content coming every week.